Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and boy, slipping a bit. So in the last video, which was the Buffalo Trace Rye Mash, I said I was going to add water and do all this stuff. Totally didn't do that. So forgot all about it. So next up on the chopping block is this Bird Dog Salted Caramel Flavored Whiskey. Now, this right here, I'm going to say it right now. I've tried it a little bit. This right here is nightmare fuel. This is the thing that nightmares are made out of. So I did my Bird Dog bourbon review in honor of my bird dogs that I've had to put down. And, it's been over a month now that I've been without my last dog. And they were English pointers. This is a Brittany on here. And I thought, maybe my wife would really like that salted caramel. I've seen some stuff on the shelf, and I was like, oh, salted caramel. I like caramel. That might go over pretty good, right? So, once again, not reading or understanding what I'm getting myself into comes around, bites me in the ass hard. So, this is, well, number one, the most awarded flavored whiskey out there. So how can you go wrong, right? And it's 80 proof, which actually makes it a whiskey, or which is one of the criteria that allows it to be a whiskey and not just a schnapps or I don't know, specialty spirit or whatever it's called. The salted caramel, that's kind of where I think the world should be. And I'd seen things like the brown sugar bourbon and other things on the shelf that I was like, maybe there's something to that, and those would be pretty good. So, for starters, we're going to start tearing this down right away. So, very light in color. So, the term whiskey is defined, and I'm not going to get this exactly right, but it has to be made from grain. So, a spirit made from grain, not distilled above, I believe, 180 proof, which means when it comes off the still, it can be as high as 180 proof or 90% ABV. It has to be under that in order to be considered whiskey. And there's categories like light whiskey that fall into that. Things like bourbon, rye, a lot of other more familiar whiskeys to people, they gotta be at 160 or below. And the whole light whiskey concept kind of came about in the 80s when whiskey producers were trying to compete with the gin, vodka, clear spirit people who distill above 180 proof. So there's a couple of weird categories in there that most people don't really consider whiskey or would think of when you say the term whiskey. But so distilled from grain spirits, there's no aging component on this. There's no nothing. So the knocks on this stuff to start with. All the color in this bottle that you see, all of that is coming from E150. Which is a food coloring agent. So this is unaged. There is no actual color to this naturally. Second, all of the flavor that is coming out of this is literally flavored syrup. So just flavoring added to this bottle. So basically what you have is a high proof distilled grain whiskey, which the higher in proof, the more you strip out the flavor components, the lignans and all the other things that add to the flavor of that whiskey. All of that gets stripped out, which is why vodka, if you want good vodka, it should not have a smell or a taste. It should literally drink like water that burns a little bit, because the higher the proof, the more all those extraneous variables get distilled out and are not part of the whiskey. So that's basically working towards what this is working towards. And then it's just coloring and flavoring that gets you here. So not a lot of high hopes for that. Have tried it. We'll get into it. I don't expect my experience to change with this from my first tasting of it. The one benefit, it does taste like salted caramel. So, here we go. We'll get into this. Now, you'll see that there's flavored bourbons and stuff like out there. So those have to meet the criteria of bourbon first, and then the flavoring gets added to it. I should have been paying more attention and probably looked for something more in line with that. So if you can find a bourbon that has, salted caramel flavoring to it, that's probably way better than this. And also, same with like the peanut butter stuff and whatever else. So, again, all of that coloring is fake and is just food coloring. So, on the nose, it smells exactly like salted caramel. It almost has a small tinge to it, like a salted caramel apple sucker. But it's overwhelmingly sweet, salted caramel, exactly what you would expect. Of course, when you're just putting flavoring into stuff, it'd be hard to miss the mark. There's a little bit of ethanol behind that, kind of coming forward. And it has a slight metallic ding in the nose even, which has kind of set me up. So, now, I'll drink it first, then I'll get into it. So on the taste, it is syrupy, sweet, salted caramel. It's just like taking salted caramel shots and putting it in your coffee or your latte or whatever. It is exactly that. It is super sweet, super easy drinking. And then after all of that goodness, then it has this metallic ding, high ethanol flavor component to it. And what I mean by that is if you've ever had a blended scotch, like Dewar's or let me see what I got here. Here's a good example. This John Barr blended scotch, right? So this has scotch, but is most likely only about 20% aged scotch, and then the rest, the other 80%, is going to be grain alcohol. That is what this tastes like. So technically, that grain alcohol is whiskey, but it tastes like grain alcohol with salted caramel syrup added to it, which is exactly what this is. So it's not off the mark at all from what it is. So if you like sugary sweet things, sure, you'll like that. This is a blending whiskey. Drinking it neat is not the way to go. Smells nice. It even tastes kind of nice if you remove all those other components, but this is made for blending, right? This is not just sitting or like just a quick little shot of something or whatever. Like you might take this ice fishing, throw it out on the ice and drink that or something like that, like similar to like a Tennessee honey or something like that. So for what it is, it's fine. It's just not, for a whiskey channel, it is not awesome. I picked this up here locally for $17.09. That's another kick in the pants. That's fairly expensive. Man, like that Bird Dog bourbon was actually quite drinkable and nice, and I had higher hopes, and that was my fault for not exploring and reading and looking into this a bit more. But I got it, and like I said, this is what I would call nightmare fuel. So there you have it. That's my review of the Bird Dog Salted Caramel. It has its place. It's just in somebody else's liquor cabinet, not mine. This reminds me exactly of butter shots, which we used to drink when I was a bit younger, where it has that butterscotch syrup just infused with alcohol. And again, proof to the floor, so it's 80%. There's just other things that you could do to really improve your life. This is not one of them. But if you're looking for just like a sweet mixer, sure, go ahead, pick up some of the Bird Dog flavored whiskeys. Apparently that's what they're known for. I don't know. Maybe you should just, if you're into whiskey, maybe avoid the flavor things altogether. However, I will encourage you, go look at the Whiskey Tribes videos. They did a video on flavored whiskey, and they actually said I think they said it was Knob Creek Maple, they said was really enjoyable. So go ahead, watch their video, see what you, because they try a bunch of different flavored whiskeys. And also, you know what? Drop in the comments down below what your experience with flavored whiskey is, if it's something you're looking for. I know growing up in Wisconsin, like blackberry brandy, which is different, but you know, it's a flavored alcohol anyways, was a big thing. That just the smell of it will turn my stomach. I'm just not much on flavored things. The schnapps and all that, you know, like a lot of people take peppermint schnapps out ice fishing with them, things like that. I did that when I lived in North Dakota with the Tennessee honey or the wild turkey honey. When I was living there, that was right when, let's see, what was that, like 2012 maybe? It was kind of like right when those honeyed whiskeys started appearing on the market. I enjoyed them at first and quickly got over them. But yeah, that would be quite in line with this. So there you go. There is my review of Bird Dog flavored whiskey, their salted caramel edition. This will be the last one of these that I do. I do have one more thing, which is Jameson Cold Brew. Just have a small one of these. I mean, this was 89 cents. You're not going to not pick it up for 89 cents. But we'll do one of those next. But for now, we're probably not going to be drinking any more of those. And yeah, drop in the comments down below what you can find a bottle of Bird Dog flavored whiskey for in your area, whether or not you like it, and what your thoughts are. And we'll get back to real whiskey. I think the next review we're going to do is going to be this Lagavulin, because that is delicious. So there you go. As always, check out some of the other platforms for Life and Whiskey, and share this out with anybody who you think would appreciate this. Look for a coming small series of videos on whiskey, why to drink it, how to enjoy it, different things to try and experience, along with some videos kind of basically outlining different price ranges and some whiskeys to maybe look at or within those price ranges, and also like a way to explore whiskeys for a reasonable amount of money, so that so maybe you're not like me and have 180 plus whiskeys under the table to explore. Maybe your budget's not quite that big and you got maybe $100 or something and you're looking to maximize that. You know, pay attention, keep your eyes open. That series will be coming, and hopefully we can help you settle on some different varieties and different bottles to match your budget and pique the interest of your taste buds. So there you go. As always, thanks for watching. I do greatly appreciate you guys. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.